James Nathaniel Brown is a former American football player, sports analyst and actor. He was a fullback for the Cleveland Browns of the National Football League from 1957 through 1965. Considered to be one of the greatest running backs of all time, as well as one of the greatest players in NFL history. Brown was a Pro Bowl invitee every season he was in the league. Was recognized as the AP NFL Most Valuable Player 3 times. And won an NFL championship with the Browns in 1964. He led the league in rushing yards in 8 out of his 9 seasons. And by the time he retired, he had shattered most major rushing records. In 2002, he was named by the Sporting News as the greatest professional football player ever. Brown earned unanimous All-America honors playing college football at Syracuse University, where he was an all-around player for the Syracuse Orangemen football team. He also excelled in basketball, track and field, and lacrosse. The football team later retired his number 44 jersey. He was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1995. In his professional career, Brown carried the ball 2,359 times for 12,312 rushing yards and 106 touchdowns, which were all records when he retired. He averaged 104.3 rushing yards per game, and is the only player in NFL history to average over 100 rushing yards per game for his career. His 5.2 yards per rush is second best among running backs. Brown was enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1971. He was named to the NFL 50th Anniversary All-Time Team, the NFL 75th Anniversary All-Time Team, and the NFL 100th Anniversary All-Time Team, comprising the best players in NFL history. Brown was honored at the 2020 College Football Playoff National Championship as the greatest college football player of all time. His number 32 jersey is retired by the Browns. Shortly before the end of his football career, Brown became an actor and had several leading roles throughout the 1970s. Brown was born in St. Simons Island, Georgia, to Swinton Brown, a professional boxer, and his wife, Theresa, a homemaker. At Manhasset Secondary School, Brown earned 13 letters playing football, lacrosse, baseball, basketball, and running track. Mr. Brown credits his self-reliance to having grown up on St. Simons Island, a community off the coast of Georgia where he was raised by his grandmother and where racism did not affect him directly. At the age of 8, he moved to Manhasset, New York, on Long Island, where his mother worked as a domestic. It was at Manhasset High School that he became a football star and athletic legend. He averaged a then Long Island record 38 points per game for his basketball team. That record was later broken by future Boston Red Sox star Carl Yastrzemski of Bridgehampton. As a sophomore at Syracuse University and most rushing touchdowns in a single game, he ran for 986 yards, third most in the country despite Syracuse playing only 8 games, and scored 14 touchdowns. In the regular season finale, a 61-7 rout of Colgate, he rushed for 197 yards, scored 6 touchdowns, and kicked 7 extra points for a school record 43 points. Then in the Cotton Bowl, he rushed for 132 yards, scored 3 touchdowns, and kicked 3 extra points. But a blocked extra point after Syracuse's third touchdown was the difference as TCU won 28-27. Perhaps more impressive was his success as a multi-sport athlete. In addition to his football accomplishments, he excelled in basketball, track, and especially lacrosse. As a sophomore, he was the second leading scorer for the basketball team. He is in the Lacrosse Hall of Fame. The Carrier Dome has an 800-square-foot tapestry depicting Brown in football and lacrosse uniforms, with the words, "Greatest player ever." Brown was taken in the first round of the 1957 NFL Draft by the Cleveland Browns, the 6th overall selection. In the 9th game of his rookie season, against the Los Angeles Rams, he rushed for 237 yards, setting an NFL single-game record that stood unsurpassed for 14 years and a rookie record that remained for 40 years. Brown broke the single-season rushing record in 1958, gaining 1,527 yards in the 12-game season, shattering the previous NFL mark of 1,146 yards set by Steve Van Buren in 1949. In this MVP season, Brown led all players with a staggering 17 touchdowns scored, besting his nearest rival, Baltimore Colts wide receiver Raymond Berry, by 8. After 9 years in the NFL, he departed as the league's record holder for both single-season total touchdowns. Brown's record of scoring 100 touchdowns in only 93 games stood until LaDainian Tomlinson did it in 89 games during the 2006 season. Brown holds the record for total seasons leading the NFL in all-purpose yards, and is the only rusher in NFL history to average over 100 yards per game for a career. In addition to his rushing, Brown was a superb receiver out of the backfield, catching 262 passes for 2,499 yards and 20 touchdowns, while also adding another 628 yards.